Zelda. We rely on your knight, and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Link.
With the final trailer for Tears of the Kingdom released, we saw a couple of new interesting characters who we know little or nothing about. Join me today as we take a look into revealing the identity of the new Zonai character. February 19, 2023, a Reddit post appeared. The artbook for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been leaked, generating both excitement and concern among fans. The artbook showcases a range of images, which seem to be concept art and promotional material for the game. Moreover, it contains drawings and sketches of various landscapes, weapons, detailed renderings of significant scenes and environments, and also characters. One of these leaked images features this particular character. And if we take a closer look, we can definitely say that this is the same character featured in the final trailer talking to Zelda. In the artbook, the character also features some Japanese text in the top left corner, which reveals the name for this character, Rauru. Now to some of you this name sounds familiar, but for those who don't recognize it, since he is a reoccurring character in the Zelda franchise, let's take a look at Rauru's lore in past games. During the era of Chaos, before the establishment of the Kingdom of Hyrule by the royal descendants of the goddess Hylia's mortal incarnation, Rauru built a Temple of Time over the remains of the sealed temple in the Faron Woods of the Faron province. This protected the Triforce from the interloper war that was being fought for its ownership at that time. Rauru named the temple after the Temple of Time from the great legend of the hero who wielded the Master Sword and traveled between two time periods. He decided to remain in the Temple of Light, located at the center of the Sacred Realm, only leaving it in the form of a wise owl, Kapora Gebora. The knowledge of the Sacred Realm was passed down to the Sheikah tribe, and Rauru's name eventually faded into obscurity. Following Link's unsuccessful attempts to save the Great Deku Tree by defeating Goma in Ocarina of Time, he departs from Kokiri Forest and has his first initial encounter with Rauru in his old form, known as Kapora Gebora, waiting for him at the forest edge. The owl offers him wise words of encouragement for the journey that the Great Deku Tree has entrusted him with, and advises him to go to Hyrule Castle to see the Princess Zelda before departing, with a promise that they will meet again. As promised, Kapora Gebora frequently shows up to inform Link about a new location whenever the young hero discovers it. Once Link arrives at the Spirit Temple and successfully navigates between the eras of his childhood and adulthood, Kapora Gebora acknowledges his growth and bids him farewell after offering a final piece of guidance on how to defeat Twin Rova, the witches. When Link pulled the Master Sword from the pedestal in the Temple of Time, Ganondorf was able to enter the Sacred Realm and obtain the Triforce of Power from the Temple of Light. The Sacred Realm was transformed into the Dark World, except for the Chamber of Sages, which remained unaffected. The Master Sword kept Link safe in this chamber until he was old enough to fulfill his role as the Hero of Time. It was after a period of 7 years that Rauru spoke to Link for the first time, explaining that he is the Sage of Light, and informs him of the events that had taken place and the responsibilities that he now had as the hero. Rauru also instructs him to awaken the other sages, and then gives him the Light Medallion. Rauru communicates with Link again after he rescues the other 5 sages, and then advises him to meet someone waiting for him at the Temple of Time before confronting Ganondorf. The person waiting turns out to be Princess Zelda herself, who has disguised herself as Sheik, the 7th sage. However, this revelation leads to Ganondorf capturing her and taking her to his castle. Rauru then instructs Link to save Princess Zelda and informs him that he and the other sages will help him to gain access to Ganon's castle. After Link defeats Ganon, Rauru leads the other sages as they use their power to seal Ganondorf once again within the Sacred Realm. Rauru is honored as one of the sages who assisted in sealing Ganondorf within the Sacred Realm in The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. A glass-stained window in the basement of Hyrule Castle, where the Master Sword is now kept, displays his likeness, with the royal crest positioned above him. Now, for many years, fans of Ocarina of Time debated and interpreted the connection between Rauru and the All Capora Gebora. But it wasn't until the release of Hyrule Historia in 2011 that it was confirmed that they are one and the same. Rauru's character in Ocarina of Time inspired the developers to name a town after him in the adventures of Link called Rauru Town. Gepora, a character in Skyward Sword, shares many similarities in appearance and demeanor with both Rauru and his old form, Capora Gebora. Now back to Tears of the Kingdom. In the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom, there is a mural depicting 2 main characters holding hands. One of these characters is Rauru, which we have since identified. The other character seems to be Zelda, but as of the latest trailer, we are not so sure anymore. The lady in question has a distinctive facial design that bears a striking resemblance to both the woman in the mural and past versions of Zelda. The observation is noteworthy because it raises the possibility that Zelda might actually be the incarnation of Hylia. In Skyward Sword, it is implied that Link will be continuously reincarnated and that Zelda's legacy is carried on through her bloodline, suggesting that all other Zeldas are descendants from the Zelda of Skyward Sword. And since Zelda holds a unique status in Skyward Sword, she is often seen as the literal embodiment of the goddess Hylia. According to Hyrule Historia, Rauru constructed the Temple of Time to protect the Triforce. However, it is worth noting that the Temple of Time was built on top of, or at least renovated from, the Temple of Hylia, which we saw in Skyward Sword. Rauru is a perplexing character who appears to possess an extraordinary long lifespan or perhaps even immortality, as he is still alive during the events of Ocarina of Time. Therefore, our first mystery centers around Rauru's significance in the broader Zelda lore. Now if we take a look at the mural of Rauru, and also the screenshots from the art book, Rauru bears resemblance to a rabbit, which is often associated with the moon in East Asian and Native American folklore. Given the Zonai culture in the game, that appears to be a blend of Mesoamerican and ancient Japanese culture, it is possible that Rauru represents the powers of the moon to the Zonai. Another character who we previously identified as some form of Zelda or Hylia appears opposite to Rauru, thematically, with light markings and golden jewelry. The mural depicting these 2 characters holding hands suggests that they represent opposites, potentially forming a union to complete a whole, similar to yin and yang or the sun and moon. Link's abilities are initially assumed to be from Rauru's power, as his arm is seen to be possessed by the spirit of Rauru at the beginning of the game. However, some of Link's abilities, such as his time reversal ability, are accompanied by a weird golden glow that suggests a different sun-related power. The golden power might belong to the mysterious character believed to be Zelda or Hylia, who could represent the sun while Rauru represents the moon. Therefore, it is possible that Link has 2 sets of abilities based on moon and sun mythology, The duality of powers could be significant to the game's overarching narrative, as the sun and moon are often portrayed as opposing forces. Thus, they must be balanced to maintain order in the world. It's very possible that Link's journey will involve the restoring balance to the world by harnessing both sets of power and using them in conjunction with each other. Furthermore, if it were true that Link gains his abilities from Rauru and potentially Zelda or Hylia, this suggests that the Zonai culture played a significant role in the history of the game's world. It is possible that Link's quest would involve uncovering the secrets of the Zonai and their relationship with these powers. In conclusion, the presence of these two characters and the duality of powers that they could represent add depth and complexity to the game's lore and mythology. And it will be interesting to see how they factor into the game's narrative as the story progresses. Also, while it's just a theory, the possible use of moon and sun mythology in the game could be a reflection of the real-world cultural influences that inspired the game's creation. The blending of Mesoamerican and Japanese cultures in the Zonai culture could also be a nod to the real-world historical exchange and influences between the two regions. Moreover, the contrast between Rauru and the woman, such as their skin tone, jewelry color, they could all represent the larger theme of duality in the game. This duality could manifest in different ways, such as order and chaos, light and dark, good or bad. And it could also be a recurring motive in the game's world and story. So, that's all for now. I do not want to delve too deep into this massive rabbit hole of speculation. Get it? A rabbit hole? The game will be upon us soon, and then there will be no more speculation or theorizing about what Rauru's part in the bigger narrative is. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this theory and what you would like to see from Tears of the Kingdom. Also, do not forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and since I'm a really small channel at this moment, do not forget to subscribe, as this helps me immensely as a part-time creator. Finally, as always guys, I love you all, wish you a very good day, and peace out.